Internet world, this is Farmhouse Holistics again, Dan here. So we're going to go over tomatoes today. So right here, we got a whole bunch of fresh new tomatoes. And you may wonder, well, why are they growing in a jug of Bertolli pasta sauce? I know they're tomatoes, but they don't grow in pasta sauce. You're correct, viewers, they do not grow in pasta sauce. What they grow in is just water, tiny bit of nutrients, and rooting powder to start out. So we start most of our plants from seed, but when we have this place that we can put more transplants in, either in the soil, in the sand, or in the gravel beds, wherever, we'll take a cut off. So this is a cut off of one of the plants. It's a sucker. So when the plants are growing up, we grow our tomatoes very densely packed, 10 to 12 inches, which if anyone's familiar with a tomato, you know, they can get huge. So we keep them trimmed down to one single vine going up a strand. And so when you get ones like this that are growing off the side, the plant is saying, let's send out another vine and make some more plants. Well, we just cut it off and you're left at that. And you want to take off the bottom two branches so you have at least 2 inches to work with. Now to do it, to make a faster process of rooting, you take a sharp knife and you just scrape the bottom. So you're just lightly removing that thin layer of skin, and it kind of reveals a real dark colored fleshy material of the plant. And all that's doing is that's letting the roots come out of the plant a lot easier. And then you take your blade and just slice it in half, not very much, about a blade length. So that's about a ½ inch. So now you got it prepped, that's ready to go. So I buy rooting powder by Fertilome, used it for years. It's super cheap. This one little powder, I've had this one for probably about 4 years and it's halfway done. So when you got it sliced open and scraped, the rooting powder is just a hormone. It's going to tell the plant to send off the roots and send it now, because you want it to get going quickly or else it will rot sitting in these water jugs. So you take it and just put a little dip. That's it. That's all you need. Tap off the excess. Then you're going to stick it into the water. And once again, this is RO water, so we get this out of our reverse osmosis. And why you do that is because that's clean, you know. And it's the pH is pretty equal to 7 coming out of an RO system. pH is very, very important when you're trying to root your plants. So that's it. And then you let it just sit for, I mean, it takes a solid 2 weeks to get a good enough root base to plant. But we've been letting these ones sit for about 3 weeks, so they're very, very healthy. They're ready to go. So we're going to take our little planter, we're going to go over to the gravel beds, and I'll show you what's the next part of the process. All right, so we're back. So now we're going to go over the planting. So this is it's not constant flow, but this runs for 20 hours every day. It's just a very low pressure sump pump that's down there in the fish tank, brings it out and blasts it into this rock bed here. Now the rock itself is just 3/8 pea gravel. I get it ordered by the truckload. I mean, it's cheap, but it's not as cheap as sand. I think we paid $25 per cubic ton. So once your plants are well established and rooted, you'll have no problem. So now this is just the one that we just put in for demonstration purposes. So I'm just going to pull that to the side. Pull all of your plants out, and you got to kind of wiggle them so you don't want to break up these roots, because when they start growing in that little pot in this little pasta sauce can, they get all they get wiggled together. So you got to just wiggle the plants so you're not ripping the roots. And boom. So there's one right there. Now you don't want the roots to be sitting in air for too long, so as soon as you get one off, put her back in the water. Now you just take your plant, and in the gravel is not as easy as doing sand, because obviously it's rock. You kind of got to get the rocks to the side where you can get the roots down there. And just cover it up. Simple as that. That is planted. Now what we'll do with the rest of them is we'll continue around And just like I said, how we grow our tomatoes densely packed out there in the big greenhouse, we're going to do the same here. we'll have one here, one there, one there, and we'll run a string all the way up to the top of this pergola. So they just kind of wrap themselves up that pergola, and we'll grow across this top.